Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to the podcast. I'm so excited you are here with me today because today is going to be a bit of a different episode. We are going to be talking about what to do when everything feels like it's crumbling, when your business feels like it's crumbling, when your offers aren't landing, when a masterclass doesn't go to plan, when you're not getting as many sales as you thought you would, when things were going great last year, but they haven't quite been the same this year. And despite everything, you know you're on this path for a reason. You know you're meant to be here, but sometimes it just feels heavy and it just feels hard. And I know collectively we're all kind of going through something right now. I am recording this on a full moon. It's Monday, the 2nd of February, while I'm recording this. And this full moon, I think, has hit everybody like a bus. I posted on my stories this morning that I was just feeling all the feels. I kind of crept in on Sunday and I took the morning off to go down to the beach and journal and just like get into that good feeling, high vibe energy again. And I had so many people writing back to me being like, same girl, feeling those full moon vibes this time. And I think a lot of it has to do with just like the final shed of the year of the snake. Chinese New Year rolls around, I think it's the 16th ish, 17th of February. So we are literally on the home run and the snake is snaking, and everything that is not meant to be in our lives or anywhere where we are holding ourselves back or anything that isn't coming with us to this next timeline, this next chapter, it is releasing, and it is releasing with a vengeance. So I really wanted to sit down and record an episode as if you were my one-on-one client and perhaps you're going through something, and this is the advice I would give you if things were kind of going to shit, really. And the good news is when it feels like everything is falling to pieces, it's actually the best news. It's, if you reframe it, it's actually the best thing that can happen to you, even though you can't see it at the time, is divine redirection. Whatever you're going through, whatever didn't work out, it is so part of the journey. And if you trust the process and if you keep believing in yourself and you keep going, you are going to be fine. You're going to be so fine. But this is often the part where a lot of people give up and they fail. They let their old stories from childhood and their trauma creep in, and those automatic negative thoughts, they're called ants, they're playing on repeat. And this is usually the part where most people give up and they think, I'm not good enough. Maybe it's not meant for me. They start self-sabotaging, right? Perhaps even like when things are going well, you realize that you just started self-sabotaging yourself, that all of these things suddenly came up, even though things were going great. And somehow it's like things have changed overnight. But this is the point in every hero's journey when things can only get better. I saw on my friend Sophia Harris's Instagram, she posted a reel that was basically like, thank God I hit breaking point in 2020, because if I didn't hit that breaking point, if I didn't hit my rock bottom, then I wouldn't be on holiday with my family, working a few hours a week, she earns like over 100K this year already. And if she didn't have that breaking point, she wouldn't be where she is now. She'd probably be in a job earning 60K a year, working 9 to 5 at a desk job and just seeing her kids on the weekend. And that's just not the life that she wants, right? But it's only because she had to go through that initiation that she got to where she is today. And I know that we all probably have a similar story or something that's happened to us where we've risen above and we're like so glad that happened to us in hindsight. And then sometimes it can happen and you're like, not again, not another tower moment, right? How many of these do I need to go through? And David the Medium, he said that this year is the year of initiation, right? It's a year of the fire horse. It's the let's effing go. Let's create some magic. Let's get that momentum going. Let's move faster than we've ever moved before. But with that it's like a rite of passage, right? Things are going to happen that seem like a failure at the time, but they're actually divine redirection. And to get to success, it requires many failures and many losses, but that's how you know you're getting closer to success. And that is when you simply have to surrender and trust the process, because what is the other option? The other option is go back to your desk job, work 9 to 5. If you're lucky, whenever I was in a 9 to 5, I'd be expected to work till like 9 p.m. at night. Get home off the train after a big day at work, do all your chores, see your kids for a minute, put them to bed, then do it all again tomorrow. And then on the weekends, if you're lucky, you might get to work on your side hustle. That's not the life that I want. That's not what I came here to create and achieve, right? If you're watching this podcast, I know that you are here. You're a woman who's ready to make impact. You wouldn't be here if you didn't have a message to share, if you didn't have something to help the world with, if you weren't here to raise the collective consciousness of us all. So these are my 10 rules to follow when it feels like everything is crumbling, even though at the end of the day, it's not. Everything's going to be okay. But in the moment, it can feel really heavy because business is not meant to be easy. And if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. And there's no fun in some easy story where everything just went your way and nothing ever went wrong and it was just all sunshine and daisies and rainbows. There's no story in that, right? I've told my story quite a few times on the podcast of where I've been, from 40K in debt, working that 9 to 5 job that I hated, could never keep a relationship, felt so unloved, was, 20 kilos heavier, did not nourish my body, felt sick all the time, had all these gut health issues, covered in acne, so unhappy and so lost in my life, to where I am now. And to have the confidence to even record something like this is such a deeply personal thing to talk about, right? And to make content like this and post it on YouTube. It is cringe, obviously, right? Like, I do worry about what my friends from Melbourne think. Like, it's always in the back of my mind, like, oh, what are they thinking? What are they judging? And I'm just like, well, let them judge if they're going to judge, because that says more about them than it does about me. And if they were my real friends, they wouldn't be judging. They'd be happy for me. And that's one of the things I think that stops most of us from really reaching our true potential, from really taking up space, is what we think others are thinking about us. I saw a reel on Instagram the other day and I had to send it to my sister, and it said, the way your parents used to speak about other people is what you think, or how you think other people are talking about you. And my mom didn't necessarily talk badly about other people, but my auntie did, right? And I was around that a lot. Like, she is notorious for gossiping and talking about other people. And being really judging. And my mum and her were like so close, right? We were always together. Like, she was like another parent to me. And it's programming, right? It's the programming that I'm having to unlearn and decondition myself into knowing that, hey, I'm okay. Like, no one's actually thinking that much about you. If they are, that is their problem, right? But this isn't a podcast about what other people think about us, although I do want to talk a bit more about automatic negative thoughts in the podcast. I want to go through the list of the 10 rules. So when it all feels like it's crumbling and things feel heavy, so maybe something has gone really wrong. Maybe a masterclass didn't go very well. Maybe no one signed up to your new low ticket offer, even though it's only $10 and you think it's a no-brainer that people should jump into it, but no one's jumped into it. Or perhaps you have hired a new person and it hasn't quite worked out the way you wanted it to, and maybe you've been betrayed by someone on your team. There's a million things that could have gone wrong. The first thing to do is not to gloss over it and say everything is fine, it's fine, it's just a lesson to learn. I'm okay though. If you're actually really feeling the feels around it. If you're feeling frustrated, if you're feeling sad, disappointed, anger, if you feel rage, I am someone that feels rage from time to time. And I feel like in the depression, anxiety space, like I'm like, where are my rage people? Like, where are the people that get like really angry and frustrated? Because no one seems to be talking about that very much. Like, I have to be really pushed to the edge, right? But I'm a Scorpio, right? I can be quite feisty. The best thing you can do, and I learned this from my client, Sarah, who is incredibly, she had a real genuine scientific point about that. I'm going to interview her on the podcast so we can go further into the 90-second method for feeling it to heal it. Allowing yourself to really, really feel it instead of squashing it down. Especially as women, we're taught to just suppress our feelings and be light, to be gentle and worry about others and be nurturing. The feminine has a real fiery side to it. And if you don't feel that, or even if it's sadness, right? Sadness or despair, frustration, just feel it, even though you might think, oh, it's low vibration, I don't want to feel it. Like, if you don't feel it, you can't let it go. So the very first step is simply to feel the feelings, at least 90 seconds. Permission to stay in that reaction longer. But a lot of the time, it's how we get out of the reaction that counts, right? We all react. That is safe. That is normal. That is okay. You're not crazy for reacting, but it's how long do we stay in the reaction for and how do we get over it? That's what counts, right? The second thing I always do is change your environment. So when I was feeling all the feels this morning, didn't want to get out of bed, was feeling useless and unworthy, just like feeling sick and nauseous, I was like, you know what? Like, sitting behind a computer right now is not going to be beneficial. I'm going to take my butt to the beach. I'm going to buy an iced latte. I'm loving these espresso floats with that coconut water at the moment. They sell them at one of my favorite cafes right across the road from the beach. Grabbed one of those. I think they're like $11. So worth it. Went down to the beach, journaled, just let like the pen write for me. I just like let the words flow out of me. And not like, I didn't judge anything that came up. That's a really important part. And I think that is my third rule, actually, is to journal and gather your thoughts and not judging anything that comes up. So changing your environment. For me, it's the beach. For you, it might be going to a Pilates or a yoga class, might be going to the park, grounding your feet in some grass, taking a walk, whatever feels good for you, something healthy, not going to the bar, right? Not going to get a drink, something healthy and useful and productive. And then really having time to reflect on your thoughts, not judging the thoughts, observing them, right? Observing the thoughts and knowing that you are not your thoughts, right? You have the power to control your thoughts and change your beliefs. So feel free to write them down so you can let them go. That's what shadow work is, right? And when we do shadow work, we really uncover what's happening and the programming that's within us and the way our mind automatically thinks and the things that we're actually feeling. And maybe we're triggered by one thing, but when we're writing it down or really reflecting back on it, it turns out to be this whole other thing, this whole other frustration that is inside us, right? We have all these different protector parts of us. If you know anything about internal family systems, we have different parts of us that are different ages, right? They get stuck at that age of that trauma and they all have a voice and they all have a different way of reacting and getting triggered to things. And they're here to protect us, right? It's like some people call it your ego as well, right? They want to keep us safe. The ego wants to keep us safe. And that's a good thing, right? We need someone to keep us safe and to stop us from, jumping off a cliff. But we need to listen to those parts of ourselves and let them be heard so we can recognize what's happening within us, so we can understand the programming and realizing where it's coming from and why it's not us. And then what we can do is we can start to set our mind on the future. Once we've dealt with the trauma that's bubbling up with us, once we've recognized and talked to those parts of ourselves and said, hey, thanks for your concern, but I'm actually going to be okay. Thanks for your concern, but not today. That's when we can start to channel our energy into the future and start to be defined by a vision of the future as opposed to memories of the past. So that brings me to my fourth point. which is meditation. I like to do guided meditations. I love Joe Dispenza meditations, Purely Being meditations on Spotify. Brian Scott, I love his meditations. He does really cool quantum leaping sleep meditations. Who else do I love? Mimi, she does the activations app, which is, if you have a really busy day and you're on the go, like listening to an activation meditation can be really useful as well. Although I do really think that there is something in, even when you do have a really busy day, finding 20 minutes to ground and center yourself and meditating and visualizing your future self, getting excited by the future, that future version of you who doesn't care about the issues of today because she's 5 years ahead, and whatever happened today, whatever thing went wrong 5 years in the future, she realizes that was all so divine, and she's so glad it happened to her because now she's living in her dream house. She's in her dream relationship. She has her dream family. She works with her dream clients. She has savings and investments and everything is taken care of. She has a thriving business. She makes impact. She speaks on stages. She's teaching that thing that she loves, right? She's so in her element. Everything feels light and easy and fun and free, right? So visualizing that future version of you and keep practicing her. Number 5 is deciding to act like that future version of yourself now, because that's how we call it in, right? Many people think that I will wait to feel those feelings when my business goes well, when I finally start selling passive offers, when I finally start having clients approach me, when I finally make 10K a month, when I finally this, when I finally that achievement, right? No, we have to act from that authority now. We have to act as if we are that person who can already hold all of that success, who already has all of those achievements, right? We are practicing this is not a dress rehearsal, right? This is real life. Okay. So why not be that person now? Why not act like that person does? Why not treat others like how that person in the future would treat others, right? Why not do those daily habits and think those thoughts that amazing future version of ourselves has? Decide right now that you're up leveling. Today is a day where everything changes. Thank God that happened to you, because this is the moment that you're up leveling, right? And we're not bypassing what happened. We're acknowledging it. We've already acknowledged that it happened. We felt the feelings. We've understood where they've come from and why this triggered us. And now we're being defined by that vision of the future. That is the only thing that's going to get you up out of bed day and day and day again, is to keep reminding yourself of what your beautiful future entails and calling it forward and calling it in faster by acting as if that reality is happening now. All right. Number 7, I think we're at, is have a nourishing meal, because I have to write this down for myself, because sometimes I can get so crazy and so in my head, and Bo will be like, you sound like you're spiraling. Have you eaten today? And I'll be like, no, I've had 2 black coffees and maybe like a cracker and a strawberry, like from Minnie's breakfast. And no, I haven't actually eaten anything today. That's a good point. I should go eat some food. And then the difference in my mood once I've eaten something nourishing, I love protein, steak, chicken, fish, salad, roasted vegetables. I'm so locked in on my diet right now. Like every meal I make, I feel like it's just chef's kiss. Like I'm just in this real health era. I'm on Pinterest, saving recipes and creating them and bringing them to life. And the power of just simply eating a nourishing meal, especially if you're in your luteal phase and things feel like they're going wrong because it's literally like day 1 of your luteal phase and you forgot what a bad bitch you are and it feels like everything is crumbling. The power of food, right? Don't underestimate it. And a little good dessert as well, right? I'm currently loving coconut yogurt, dates, frozen blueberries, frozen mango, honey on top. Delicious. Put some collagen powder in there too. Honestly, it will just raise your vibration by 10 times. Literally, just having a really, really good meal will make you do a happy dance. Number 8 is somatic work, right? Breath work, EFT tapping, getting in the body, taking it out, dancing. I love a good dance, punching a pillow, whatever you need to do to start getting into your body. You've done so much of the mind stuff. Start getting into your body and awaken those cells again, right? Because we need to vibrate at a higher frequency. Our cells need to be vibrating at a higher frequency. So we need to increase that energy and lift it all up, right? Maybe it's going to Pilates class or going to the gym, something to just get the body moving, get out of the mind and get out of the head. I love doing like breath work as well and getting into that mind heart coherence, because that is just what makes you so magnetic, right? Like, do you ever just like go to a Pilates class and like do really good breathing in a Pilates class? Like, I feel like that's why I love Pilates so much. I'm actually focusing on my breathing so much. And then you do a meditation afterwards and you literally just feel like you're floating. Like, that is just, I feel like no bad day is not a bad day unless you've exercised, right? After the exercise, tell me if it's still a bad day or not. Because if you're still having a bad day after you've exercised, then maybe it is a bad day. But I guarantee you 99% of the time, if you exercise or move your body, lots of your problems will be solved, and eat a good meal. Number 9 is to catch your automatic negative thoughts. We have touched a bit on this, but this is ANTS is the acronym for automatic negative thoughts. We all have them. Maybe you call it your inner critic, your inner mean girl. These are the thoughts that are running your mind. It's programming, right? It's the way you speak about others and the things you say about other people. You have to watch them, because every bad thing you say about yourself becomes your story and it becomes your reality. If you say, I suck at getting clients, my business is failing, no one wants to buy my offer, no one's jumping into my offer, if you keep this story going and you keep asking other people and you keep consulting other people, and this story becomes your reality, it just becomes your truth in your frame currently. Your words are spells. That's why it's literally called spelling. It seems like the most basic 101 of manifestation work. It's like, think nice thoughts, think positive thoughts, say your affirmations, right? But what we actually say manifests, right? Something I love to do is I love to record my own voice saying I am statements, like affirmations, I guess. And instead of doing like an affirmations track, I like to record it in my own voice and tailor it for myself. And when I'm on a walk, I'll listen to it and I will literally repeat the affirmations. I'll say them out loud because I'm programming my mind to believe those thoughts about me are true. And it is crazy. Like when I make a recording on a particular subject, what I desire to happens and how quickly I can pull it into my reality. It's crazy. And some people call these like life scripting as well. Some people might write down like an ideal day in their life or an ideal scenario and then say it out loud. I think that's a really powerful way to do it as well. But just watch those negative thoughts and those bad things you say about yourself, because those things come true. Okay. Number 10, detach and let it go. Let it go, babe. You will become 10 times more magnetic. You will love your life so much more. You will be a breeze to be around. Everybody will want to work with you if you become a woman who lets it go instead of ruminating on the bad stories. Those most powerful women are the women that can detach and let it go. We're not the ones that hold on to what that person did to me and what that person said and what went wrong over here. You have to go through this process, right? You have to feel it for 90 seconds, change your environment, gather your thoughts, journal, meditate, feel it, but don't allow it to keep being your story. Don't allow those negative thoughts to keep coming in. You got to let it go. Mel Robbins calls it the let them theory. Let it go. There is so much power in letting it go and not letting it be your story, and choosing again, choosing to be happy, choosing to be successful right now in this current moment, because life is too short to keep ruminating on the crap that's happened. Failure is so part of the process, so part of it. I can't tell you how many times I feel like I failed in business and my personal life, right? But when you look back on like the last 10 years, like for me, I recently looked back at 2016 because that 2016 trend's really going around. And I can just see the physical transformation and glow up, like from when I was drinking so much and I I just had so much trauma I was carrying around after my mother died. And I just didn't give myself time to heal. And I was burying my worries in drinking and drugs and going out and overworking and investing in poor friendships. And the negative self talk was rampant. I like the way, like the physical glow up, like I can literally sit here and say I look the best I've ever looked in my life at 33 after a baby because, and I don't try, right? I don't try to lose weight or look good. I mean, I do try, I put effort into my appearance, but I don't feel like I try any more than what I tried 10 years ago when I was 20 pounds overweight and so inflamed. And yeah, I love that girl so much. I love that version of myself so much. I guess what I'm trying to say is you can rewrite your own story at any moment. Any moment. Every day is a new day and a chance to start again. Nothing is permanent, and that is a beautiful thing. You're always changing, you're always evolving, and everything passes. And while that can be sad that, what's happening in your reality now won't be this way forever, it's also really comforting and you get to decide. For me, I like to be a completely different person every year. Every year, I'm like, if I'm the same as I was last year, then that's a failure to me, right? But you can only become that next level version of yourself through experiencing hardship, through experiencing pain and loss, because that's how you grow. And just knowing that it's part of the journey and trusting the process, you will find so much peace in that. You'll find so much peace in detaching and moving on. So you can't be like, okay, I detach, and really you haven't detached at all. You genuinely have to detach. None of this works if it's just doing it to just tick something off a list and say you've done it. It's about actually doing the work and doing it properly. That is the work. And that is how you ascend to higher timelines and become more magnetic than ever. You can turn rock bottom or a bad experience or something shit that happened to you into one of the greatest achievements of your life, to your greatest timeline. If you just work on yourself, you keep putting in the reps, you keep showing up, you keep talking kindly to yourself, good things are going to happen to you. It's the law of attraction. It is law. You can't actually fail. Something might seem like a failure, but you can't actually fail because that is genuinely the number one law of how the universe operates. So have trust in that and trust the process. I hope this episode was helpful and I look forward to chatting with you next time.